Hey guys, in just a few seconds we're going to flip through the ViceVersa Tarot, and I'm going to give you a chance to see what the imagery looks like and find out a little bit more about what this deck's all about. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Leesa. I'm a certified tarot consultant whose goal is to help you leverage the power of the tarot to gain insights into yourself. And on this channel, you're going to find a lot of tarot related videos like this deck walkthrough, for example. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so that you can see when new videos come out. But the purpose of this deck walkthrough is to simply give you an idea of what this ViceVersa Tarot is all about so that you can see a bit of the imagery and decide if this may be a good deck for a reading for you. So I'm not going to flip through every card in the deck, but I am going to show you enough to help you get a sense of the artist's style. And we're going to start just by kind of looking at the general colors here. So you can see kind of the colors that are involved in here and some of the basics. This is actually a really interesting deck, guys. The reason why it's called the ViceVersa Tarot is because I can actually flip it over onto its head, and there are no card backs. So it's this really interesting deck, and that's part of the reason why I actually put these coins here. Lunaea Weatherstone is the creator of this deck. She created it with Davide Corsi. He is the artist. And she's an interesting person unto herself, and I'm just going to start flipping through these a little bit, and I'm going to show you the front and then the back of each one. But yeah, Lunaea calls herself a priestess, a writer, a flame keeper, and a serendipitous seeker of sacred service, which I just think is a fun way to describe yourself. So she's got a few tarot decks out there, and she also wrote a book called Tending Brigade's Flame. She also, for many years, and she may still be, I'm not sure, the Sage Woman magazine, she was the owner and the editor of that. And so I don't know if that's still out there or not, but she is someone who, in her practice, focuses on the sacred feminine in her work. So although, you know, honestly, I can't tell that from just looking at the deck. I just feel as though, oh, this is one of my favorite cards. I just really like this one. That's not necessarily something that I can tell just from looking at the deck itself, but that's her background a little bit. So if you resonate with that type of person, it could be a good deck for you. But the thing that's interesting about this deck, and the reason why she jumped into it and what she discusses about it, is this idea of it being... in today's environment, we can't always just look at things from one point of view, right? It's kind of like these coins here, right? You know, it's a single coin, but it's got two different faces to it, right? So if you're just looking at the coin and you've never seen, and all you ever do is look at the front, you're going to completely miss the back of it. You're not going to see both sides of it. And so she talks about how, especially in today's society, nothing is just one thing. There tends to be two different sides to everything out there, right? So she talks about thinking about the cards not as being flat pieces of paper or cardstock down, but actually being like, if you could take it and have it rotate in front of you, you could see the whole thing. Okay, and that's what she kind of looks at. So it's interesting because she talks about not there being a right side and a wrong side. She actually describes being this side or that side, which is interesting. And then she talks about the juxtaposition of different things. Like, for example, she talks about night and day, or she talks about light and dark, or she talks about internal and external. I think maybe moving and sitting still, but there's all of these different kind of juxtapositions. And so, oh, here's the Hermit card. So it's an interesting deck in that when you're looking at it, instead of having 78 images like you would typically see in a deck, you actually have 156 images. So it's a really different type of deck to work with and to get a reading with, because there's just a subtle difference between one side on the other side. So it's the same card. It's just a little bit different in the way that the meaning's coming through. For any of you that are into, you know, understand Venn diagrams, I feel like it's probably an 80% overlap between the two. That's kind of what I've noticed here, is it's just a little bit different. Like I said, it's just nuanced a little differently. She also has a lot of symbols in here. She's got a strong use of symbols that she puts in here, and they're more, I mean, obviously there's a few here, but it's not that as much as it's things like, you know, birds or flame or storms or, you know, say an apple or something like that. And they all have, or a rose, these all have meaning. And so that's something that she kind of has subtly in there as well. So just taking a look at a few more. But yeah, guys, this is the ViceVersa Tarot. It's probably one of the more interesting decks that I have in my collection. If you found this useful, like I said, feel free to hit that like button. I would definitely appreciate that. And feel free to check out some of the other deck walkthroughs that I have if you're trying to see what other decks might be out there, if you're interested in getting a reading. And of course, I do provide one-on-one readings. Just jump over to my website and you can take a look there. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. I look forward to seeing you next time, and goodbye.